What's going on, guys? Today is going to be the first video on how to improve Axis football in specific ways. Before I was doing my improving Axis football, but I was talking to Danny recently. We've been doing a lot more in-depth discussion on where to focus first, what doesn't cost money, what costs money, etc. And he's given me a couple of ideas on where to start, because I have so many ideas for this game and I just don't know where to start. And so I asked him, I was like, where do I start? I mean, I could talk about commentary, I could talk about gameplay features, gameplay mechanics, etc. I just don't know where to start. So I asked him what could I do to make this game better that won't cost money? And so the first thing he said was commentary and playbooks. So I'm going to start with the commentary. Now, the commentary in the game has much improved over last year. However, there's some like hiccups in it. Like, for example, the announcer doesn't quite finish his lines sometimes. Like, he'll say something like "great catch," but if I catch it in the end zone, he won't say touchdown, or something like around those lines. I mean, I'm going to go through and make an extensive list of how to improve what he's already got and expand on that. But in addition, I'm going to be making a very extensive list on new terminology, new lines for the commentators, things of that nature. I would also like to announce that I'm going to start being more involved in the development of this game. Before, I was just kind of a fan, giving suggestions, but now I'm going to actually be an investor of this game, so I'll be able to dictate certain things that are going to come into this game. I'm going to have choices. I'm going to have decisions to make, and because I'm going to be investing my own money into the game. So, and before Danny, I was hoping he would hear me, but now I know he's going to hear me. He's going to know what I'm going to talk about, and I don't have to worry about, I hope he hears this, I hope he replies to my message. No, he's going to know what I'm talking about. So it's always been my dream to kind of help a football game come along, and I'm living a dream right now. I know you guys might laugh at me saying this game is crap and everything, but I really don't care what you guys think, because I know what a game can do when it's on PC and what potential you have when you have a developer that listens to you and listens to fan feedback. So I'm going to be investing my own money now into this game. So let's get started with the first thing I'm going to work on is the commentary. So let's get started with how to improve it. Okay, so I'm going to base the beginning of how I'm going to go about this commentary on some basic concepts here. When I was in college, at the beginning, doing my writing classes, we always were told to talk about who, where, when, and how, especially when we're writing summaries. So the first thing is who. Who caught the ball? Who ran the ball? Right now, we have he gives it to the runner, or the runner makes the catch, or the receiver makes the catch. Well, how about instead of that, we go with the running back, or the back, for short, the back, or the running back, whichever you prefer. The running back, the back, or the tailback, or the fullback. That's the who. The wideout, the tight end. Let's go with specific positions. You drop back to throw. He does specify certain positions of the field, like he throws deep to the end zone, but he doesn't do it as much. We'll get to that later. But let's just say he throws it deep down the middle to the tight end, caught by the tight end, instead of makes the catch, because it's just too generic. It's too broad. We don't know who it is. Who caught the ball? Who ran the ball? Who made a play on the ball? That's where we need to start with who. Who made the play? Now let's talk about where. And to expand on the who, let's also talk about who's playing. The commentator right now does not specify who's playing, like who is going up against who. Now I don't want to use the team names right now, like the Panthers or the Prowlers or whatever, because that might mess with the mod immersion. But let's go with the city names, like Carolina versus Denver. And, we don't have any of that right now. We need to know who is actually playing each other, who's winning the game, who won the game, who lost the game, etc. Let's start there with who. Now, there is commentary in the game that exists right now that does specifically say where the ball is being thrown, but it needs more depth to it. For example, he'll say throws deep down the field, throws deep to the end zone, throws to the left, deep down the left side, right. But it needs to be more specific, and we'll get to that. We'll get to specific zones. But before we talk about that, let's talk about a more, big picture kind of thing. He doesn't specify yard lines in this game. He doesn't talk about yard lines specifically at all. He doesn't talk about inside the 5-yard line or at the 20. I have never heard a single yard line spouted out of this guy. So we need to have every yard line, be uttered. I know this is going to take a lot of time, but, if we start at the 15-yard line, let's say the Prowlers start at the 15-yard line. It's 1st and 10 at the 15, that kind of thing. We need all of the yard lines in the game. Right now, there are currently none. It'll just say 2nd and short, or 1st down, 3rd down, 4th down, that kind of thing. There's no yard lines. So where are we on the field? Are we inside enemy territory yet? Are we across midfield yet? There is none of that. Where are we? Where are we on the field? It seems so simple, but it's not in the game yet. Where are we? Where are we on the field? What yard line? We need to know. That needs to be in the game. Yard lines, specific yard lines in commentary. Now we're really going to get into depth with the where. So right now in Axis Football, he does say, like I said before, he does say, he's throwing deep to the end zone, or he'll throw deep down the middle or deep down the right and left sidelines and all that. But let's really get into depth. So if you throw a pass into the flats, let's say he mentions the flats. He throws to the flats, goes to the flats, dumps it off in the flats, that kind of thing. The flats is a specific zone in football where the quarterback will throw the ball. He does say throw short, short pass and all that kind of thing. We need to talk about zones. Zones on the field. The flats are a zone. The middle of the field is a zone, although he does specifically say middle sometimes, but it's not very frequent. Not frequent enough. Short middle, near side, that kind of thing. We need to know more about where the pass is going. Where is it going? Is it going to the corner of the end zone? Is it just going to the end zone? Back of the end zone, We need to know all of the specific zones. So back of the end zone, corner of the end zone, goal line, throwing from the end zone, his own end zone in danger of a safety, So let's talk about when. When are we in the game? Are we in the, at the 2-minute warning? Is there a 2-minute drill? There's no specific mention of, under 2 minutes to go, or, any kind of countdown, because there's no play clock yet either, and that needs to be in the game eventually. A play clock, once there's penalties established, and that hasn't happened yet. Possibly next year for penalties. Or hell, who knows? Might happen this year depending on the funds. It all depends on support, guys. But yeah, the when. When are we? Are we in the 3rd, 4th quarter? Are we in the 2-minute warning? Just before half? That needs to be a thing too. When are we? Because he doesn't talk about when are we. And the clock really doesn't have. It's accelerated right now. He needs to slow it down. But I'm sure that'll happen. But the when are we? Is the game almost over? I mean, is it clutch time? Let's emphasize the when as well. Now, this next one is my favorite. The how. Now, we can't really do this yet because we don't have the animations to go with it yet. But that's coming, and coming soon, trust me. That's one of the areas I'm going to be helping invest in, is some animations. So, how did the receiver catch the ball? Did he make a sliding catch? Did he make a leaping catch? Did he cradle it? Did he one-hand it? Did he make a spectacular catch? Did the running back bowl over a defender? Did he juke a defender? Although he does say the juke commentary, but we can expand on that. I have a lot of examples. I'm going to be writing an extensive list for Danny, and I'm going to submit it to him about specific lines. I'm just giving a broad overview right now in this video to give him a better idea of where I want to go with this. But yeah, how did the defender break up the play? Did he break on it? Did he gamble and miss? How did the play occur? All right, guys, this is just a very quick, overview of where I want to take this commentary, and I'm thank Danny Jugan again for letting me start this process. It's been really fun to see this game grow. I know some naysayers out there say this game hasn't grown, but I know it has. And the people that played the 2015 version know that this game is leaps and bounds improved over last year. All right, guys, that's it. I'll see you guys with another video soon.